Alright guys, today is January 14th. We're going to go ahead and do this really fast. So today we had nice failures here on the ES versus some of these key levels. We lost kind of the daily 20 SMA. We lost the daily 10 SMA as well. This is the daily 10 right here, sitting right here. This is also the daily 20. We breached this slightly. Now we have reclaimed it. So this is going to be very interesting the next couple of days, how this wants to build around it. A key factor here was it seemed like PPI had come in. After PPI had come in, we were supposed to have that tariff Supreme Court kind of ruling, and nothing came from it. It seemed like, you know, they're just not making the decision. I think that these people are kind of scared, you know, in my opinion, to see how, if they go ahead and take the tariffs off, you know, how much money would we be giving back to some of these other countries, and how would it have effect on what's already priced into this market. So I think there's a little bit of fear coming in because there's uncertainty behind that aspect of the market, and I think that that may be very well the reason why the market does seem to have a little bit of volatility creeping in, as well as this nice little down move that we did have. Now, I do want to point out, I did trade the ES. I traded it actually straight out the gate, and I didn't make too much out of this, guys. I had a couple of ESs on, and I covered like around here, and I knew, I had a feeling, just because everything was kind of coming together, I had a really good feeling that we were going to get a real big drip out in the aftermarkets, and then we were going to flush out into the open. And unfortunately, I had a 699, I had a 6,999.75 entry on this trade, and I completely kind of flubbed it.
Ariel.
I got out a little bit prematurely, which was definitely frustrating on my behalf, but it's okay. I mean, you know, I just didn't want to sit all night in this position. You know, some people would argue, well, put a stop over, whatever, and just let it work, but I'm not that type of trader, so to hold this whole thing overnight would have been, you know, a very complicated trade for me, considering I like to be at my seat, you know, when I'm in trades. And obviously we had a really good downtrend. Maybe one day I'm going to catch that full move, but as of today, it did not happen. What I do want to go ahead and inform you guys is I went absolute ape shit on silver. I went absolute ape shit today. I think it's SIH is what I traded. Yes. So I traded this, and look, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know where I got in, where I got out. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly my entries and exits right now. Let me pull this up. Here we go, guys. I'm trying to do this quick, guys. Future market's about to open in about 17 minutes. So I want to make sure I get this out the way. So we got the high of these lines right here, right? This is where everything above is an exhaustion zone. So I want to be short anywhere near that. Caught the flush out. All of these positions, by the way, are about 3. So just 3 SILH. Right? It's 3. So it's almost like 3 MNQs, 3 MESs, whatever. It's the micro of silver. And I was trading 3. Now, if you guys know how silver is currently trading, I want you to understand that having 3 micro silvers on is a fucking big position. Like, it is a big position. Like, you are up $300, $400, $500 almost instantaneously when this thing is moving. You can be down $300, $400, $500 in the same aspect. But as you can see, man, I was scalping all of this basically throughout, you know, the first like 30 minutes. After the first 30 minutes, I really wanted to zone in and get the real trades going. So I got a really sick entry here, covered here, another sick entry here, covered here. Notice how all of my covers is going to be near this line, and all of my shorts are anywhere near where this line is failed to following through. I re-added here, covered here, added here, covered there. That is my trade. This is how I trade. I trade based off of levels. So when I see exhaustions, I like to make sure that I'm in near the exhaustion area, and I want to be covering where I think support or demand could be at throughout the intraday. And then once all of that starts giving up is when I really start to kind of scale into positions. Now, what I want to go ahead and state here, because now you guys seen my entries and exits. And guys, if you wanted to go ahead and do the math on how much I made based on all those positions, you know, feel free to do the math in your head. It's a shit ton. I made quite a bit of money here today. Keep in mind, all of those positions were 3, and I was getting some really sick moves. All of those trades were green as well. So I do think that, you know, silver might have a couple more days, man, of just gap up. And then maybe we get that parabolic into like 100, 105, 110, 120 when things are kind of skipping. And then we kind of get that big retracement is what I think is possible. Now, some people are believing we're going to get that as soon as basically market open here in the after hours. I think that this thing could still press on a little bit more. I would not be surprised if this thing does get above this high right here and we kind of moonshot, and then maybe we retrace coming into tomorrow, which will be Thursday. I believe today's Wednesday, right? Yep. So Thursday, I do think that we are getting very, very clearly parabolic here on silver, and I think that the mean reversion is coming up soon, guys. I think that the mean reversion is coming in, and it's just a matter of time. You do not want to exhaust yourself into this. I already know a bunch of traders have exhausted themselves into it already. I can only imagine how many people have blown up, you know, trading silver. It has to be a shit ton. Microsoft, yet again, this has been my main vehicle of choice as of late in options. This name is just dead, guys. This is a dead body. Like, this is a dead body. Remember what I said about yesterday? This name can just fail and fail and fail. And I mean, all previous day lows that fail to follow through under VWAP, under these sloping EMAs, I mean, this is just a monster move. It's the same concept as yesterday, guys, right? You get this failure, pop it to previous day lows, fail that. You can use pre-market lows now as your guide, get in here under VWAP and get these whole washouts. I did trade this yet again, covered majority of positions here, scaled a little bit here, covered again in this vicinity, and then I had a piece on for this meltdown, and I got completely out of my position. I think I only had like 3 contracts. I was as sized in, I think I was in like 20 at the most up here. And then from this pop here, I got sized into about 15 utilizing VWAP. And yeah, so I never got back into my full position. I only had like 3 or 4, something like that left on over this breakdown. So this wasn't really huge here, but this was still a nice chunk of change. And I know I am talking really fast and I'm getting through this fast, but I am starting a little bit late just because I went out to go get dinner. Now, MSTR was also a very interesting one, right? MSTR straight out the gate. Mean, ripper. And this was basically thoughts of yesterday, right? We had that high of the day kind of clear out, and then we kind of gapped up and moved down off of that. Of course, we had a really fantastic retracement. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin might have retraced with it, so let me go ahead and check that out because I didn't have my eyes on Bitcoin. Actually, Bitcoin held well. That's kind of interesting that, you know, dude, MSTR is kind of a joke. I'm going to be completely honest, bro. This company, bro, it just does, you know, this company is essentially a holding of Bitcoin, and this thing does not follow Bitcoin well. So we'll just leave it at that. And that is honestly the only things that I actually really was zoned in on today. I didn't even trade MSTR. I only traded Microsoft, and I only traded silver, and then I had that overnight ES move. And that was essentially it for me. I didn't get into anything too crazy. Guys, we are in a market currently where it seems like, you know, it seems like volatility is creeping back in. So you just have to be a little bit cautious when you're taking positions, especially if you're kind of longing, or even if you're building in swings, right? You just got to be a little bit cautious because it seems like we're getting some upticks, man. There's a little bit of uncertainty coming into this market. So make sure you're protecting yourself. If you're long, make sure if you are longing silver, you start, you know, really paying attention to what's currently happening, because silver screaming like, you know, one day it's going to flush out. It's going to look like it's going to reclaim, and it's not going to reclaim. Like, it looks like that, guys. It looks like it's just going to not reclaim one day, and people are going to get trapped. And a lot of people are going to get washed out on some silver longs. Now, if you're long-term investing in it, you know, who cares? You know, it is what it is. You know what it is. If it's a long-term investment, you just hold the line and you let that shit work. But gold, a little bit relatively weaker here. Nice little double top short opportunity and double bottom, actually. Long opportunity on gold. Definitely didn't show as much strength as silver did, but it was still an excellent little trader here. Nice little range bound day. Honestly, if you wanted to short the extremes and long the extremes, you definitely could have banked on that. Very nice little traders here. And that is about all I have for you guys here today. I've been honestly absolutely killing this market recently. You know, the silver trade was a banger, and guys, I know I said that, you know, you should not touch silver as of right now, shorting it, but sometimes that volatility, when it creeps in and you get those proper setups, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer situation there. But that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry I'm rushing this through, but I got to be prepared for the futures market. I want to see how that opens, and I also want to kind of just watch some shows and chill out, and I was relatively late here for this. So peace out, guys. Enjoy the video. I'm out.